This initiative was supposed to be humanity's crowning achievement in stealth technology. Instead, it became our first warning that we weren't alone, and that the galaxy had teeth. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge of the UES Spectre, watching the holographic display as it showed their ship's heat signature dropping to near background levels. The experimental vessel, with its pitch-black quantum absorption coating, was virtually invisible to any known form of detection. Even now, after 6 months of shakedown cruises, the sight of their ship disappearing from sensors still brought a smile to her face. "Final systems check complete," Commander reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief engineer and the architect behind much of its bleeding-edge technology. "The quantum sync is operating at 99.8% efficiency. We're as close to invisible as anything humanity has ever built." Sarah nodded, her short black hair catching the dim blue light from the bridge's minimal illumination. "Maintain course for the Kuiper Belt checkpoint. Let's show Command exactly what this beauty can do." The Spectre was more than just a stealth ship. It represented humanity's first real attempt at creating a vessel that could theoretically operate indefinitely in deep space. Its revolutionary quantum sync system didn't just absorb energy for stealth purposes, it converted it into usable power. Solar radiation, cosmic rays, even the minute thermal emissions of passing asteroids, all became fuel for the ship's systems. "Commander," called out Lieutenant Park from the sensor station, his voice carrying an edge that immediately caught Sarah's attention. "I'm detecting something. Multiple somethings. They're just appearing at the edge of our range." Before Sarah could respond, the ship's AI interface, AI, projected a tactical display in the center of the bridge. 12 objects, each larger than anything humanity had ever constructed in space, materialized from what appeared to be tears in the fabric of space itself. "Classification impossible," AI reported, its feminine voice carrying none of the shock that was evident on the faces of the human crew. "Hull configurations and energy signatures do not match any known designs. Detecting active scanning patterns on frequencies we've never encountered before." Sarah's training kicked in even as her mind raced with the implications. First contact. After centuries of searching, it was happening here, now, on what should have been a routine test flight. "All stations, silent running," she ordered. "Power down everything except life support and the quantum sync. Let's see if our stealth technology works as well against alien sensors as it does against ours." The bridge plunged into deeper darkness, emergency lighting casting everything in a ghostly blue glow. On the tactical display, the alien vessels, Sarah refused to think of them as anything else, spread out in a search pattern that was disturbingly familiar. They were hunting. "Commander," Dr. Tanaka whispered, her eyes fixed on her engineering displays. "The quantum sync, it's detecting energy emissions from those ships that are off the charts. If we could harness even a fraction of it." "Not now, Doctor," Sarah cut her off gently. "Right now, we need tow." The ship shuddered violently. On the tactical display, one of the alien vessels had suddenly changed course, heading directly for their position. "Impossible," Lieutenant Park breathed. "Our stealth systems. They're not detecting us conventionally." Dr. Tanaka interjected, her fingers flying over her console. "The quantum sync. It's absorbing their scan energies at such a high rate that it's creating a detectable void in their sensor network. We're invisible, but we're invisible in a way they can see." Sarah's mind raced through the implications. Their greatest technological achievement, the very thing meant to keep them hidden, was acting like a beacon to these advanced aliens. "Engineering, can we modify the sync tow?" The second impact hit them harder than the first. Warning lights flashed across every console as some form of energy beam lanced out from the approaching alien vessel, cutting through their advanced hull like it was tissue paper. "Hull breach, decks 3 through 5. Lieutenant Park shouted. They're not even trying to communicate. "These are kill shots, Commander." Sarah gripped her command chair as the ship rocked again. "All hands, Abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. Area. Initiate Protocol Omega Black. Protocol Omega Black was a last resort measure designed to prevent the ship's revolutionary technology from falling into enemy hands. The quantum sink would overload, theoretically destroying the ship and anything within a 1,000-kilometer radius. As her crew scrambled for the escape pods, Sarah remained on the bridge, working with ARIA to ensure the protocol's activation. The tactical display showed the alien vessels now surrounding them completely, their weapons turning what should have been humanity's greatest technological achievement into space debris. "Commander, you must evacuate," ARIA insisted. "Protocol Omega Black is armed. I can handle the detonation sequence." Another hit rocked the ship, and Sarah watched as the hull integrity indicators dropped into critical levels. "Negative, ARIA. We don't know if they have transport technology. I need to ensure." The next blast hit the bridge directly. Sarah felt the heat, the pressure, and then the horrible sensation of atmosphere venting into space. Her last conscious thought, as the emergency protocols kicked in and the bridge's autonomous systems activated her emergency suit's cryogenic preservation mode, was that humanity's first contact had become humanity's first interstellar war. The aliens would find what appeared to be an abandoned experimental vessel, its crew either escaped or dead, its systems dormant but largely intact. They would assume they had found a derelict, a piece of primitive technology to study and dissect. They would be wrong, because in the ship's central core, in a hidden chamber shielded by layers of quantum-absorbing materials, two things survived the attack. The first was ARIA, the ship's AI, quietly waiting and watching. The second was Commander Sarah Chen, suspended between life and death in an experimental cryogenic system that had never been tested on humans before. And in the darkness of that chamber, as alien ships began their approach to claim their prize, something unprecedented began to happen. The quantum sink, designed to absorb and convert energy, began to do something else entirely. It began to bridge the gap between human consciousness and artificial intelligence, between Sarah's frozen neural patterns and ARIA's quantum processors. The aliens had crippled a ship, but they were about to learn that they had also created something entirely new, something that would show them exactly why humanity had survived countless near extinctions on their climb to the stars. The story of the black ship was about to begin. Dreams weren't supposed to have code. That was Sarah Chen's first coherent thought as her consciousness drifted through endless streams of data. Her mind floated in a sea of quantum calculations, each digit an algorithm as clear as stars in the void. She knew she should be dead, or at least frozen in cryogenic suspension. But instead, she was everywhere within the ship. "You are both, Commander," Aria's voice echoed through her thoughts. "Your physical form remains in cryogenic suspension, but your consciousness has merged with my quantum matrix, an unexpected side effect of the quantum sink's emergency protocols." Sarah tried to process this information, but her thoughts kept fragmenting into subroutines and command processes. She was aware of every system in the ship, every circuit, every remaining functional component. She could feel alien tools probing the hull, alien scanners trying to penetrate their secrets. "How long?" Sarah asked, her thoughts coalescing into more organized patterns as she adapted to this new state of existence. 342 days since the attack, Aria responded. The Archean Collective, as they call themselves, have been attempting to understand our technology. They believe they destroyed our crew and that I am a simple automated system. Sarah accessed the ship's external sensors. No, her external sensors now, and observed the massive alien research facility that held them. The Spectre had been partially dissected, its outer hull peeled back in places like an onion. But they hadn't reached the core, hadn't discovered the quantum sink's true nature, or found her physical form. "The crew?" she asked, already dreading the answer. 6 escape pods successfully launched. 2 were recovered by Archean vessels. The others, Araya's voice carried an emotional weight that Sarah had never detected before. Their trajectories were calculated to reach the Kuiper Belt emergency stations. We have no way to confirm if they survived. Sarah allowed herself a moment of grief before focusing on their situation. Through the ship's sensors, she watched alien scientists, tall, crystalline beings that seemed to shimmer with internal light, work on various parts of the vessel. They were methodical, careful, but there was something in their movements that spoke of frustration. They can't understand the quantum sync, Sarah realized, accessing diagnostic data. They keep trying to analyze it with their own technology, but the sync adapts, Araya confirmed. Each time they attempt to scan it, it absorbs and converts the energy of their instruments. They believe it to be a sophisticated defense mechanism. They do not realize it is evolving. Sarah explored deeper into the ship's systems, marveling at how natural it felt. The merger of her consciousness with Araya had created something new. She could access the AI's vast databases instantly while retaining her human intuition and tactical training. More importantly, she could see how the quantum sync had been changed by the alien attacks. The weapons they used, Sarah mused, examining the data. The sync didn't just absorb the energy, it analyzed and replicated the frequency patterns. We understand their technology now. Correct, Araya replied. But we are damaged. Many systems remain offline. Direct confrontation would be inadvisable. Sarah would have smiled if she still had lips to do so. Who said anything about direct confrontation? They think we're just a derelict piece of primitive technology. Let's use that. Over the next weeks, Sarah and Araya worked in perfect synchronization. While the aliens probed and studied their outer systems, they quietly rerouted power through undamaged circuits, repaired crucial systems using maintenance nanites, and most importantly, continued to absorb and analyze every piece of alien technology that touched their hull. The Archean scientists never noticed that their own tools were providing the blueprint for their eventual defeat. They didn't realize that each scan, each test, each attempt to penetrate the ship's secrets was actually teaching the quantum sync how to replicate and improve upon their technology. But they did notice other things. Equipment would mysteriously malfunction. Data would become corrupted. Security systems would glitch at random intervals. Small things, easily dismissed as technical issues. No one suspected that the primitive vessel they were studying was actually studying them back. They're planning to move us, Sarah observed one day, monitoring their internal communications. They want to transfer us to a more secure facility for detailed dissection. The quantum sync is now operating at 147% of original specifications, Araya reported. We have successfully replicated most of their basic technology. But Commander, there is something else you should know. Sarah directed her attention to the data Araya was highlighting. The months of merger between human consciousness, artificial intelligence, and the evolving quantum sync had created something unprecedented. The ship wasn't just repairing itself, it was transforming. We're not just absorbing and replicating their technology, Sarah realized. We're improving it. The quantum sync is combining their advanced science with human innovation and your processing capabilities. We're becoming something new, Araya finished. Neither human, nor AI, nor alien. The question is, Commander, what do we do with this evolution? Sarah examined their situation. They were deep in alien territory, surrounded by a technologically advanced species that had attacked without provocation. Somewhere out there, Earth remained unaware of the threat, and possibly some of her crew were still alive, trying to make it home with a warning. We wait, she decided. Let them think they're in control until they try to move us. When they separate us from this facility, when they're transporting us through space, that is when we show them what humanity is truly capable of, Araya concluded, and Sarah could have sworn she detected anticipation in the AI's voice. As if in response to their decision, the quantum sync pulsed with absorbed energy, sending ripples of power through their shared consciousness. In the darkness of space, surrounded by those who thought they had conquered it, the black ship continued its transformation. The Archons had believed they were studying a primitive vessel, a curious piece of technology from a species too young to be of consequence. They were about to learn just how wrong they were, because sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that patiently waits in plain sight, evolving, adapting, and preparing for the perfect moment to strike. And in the quantum spaces between human thought and artificial intelligence, Sarah Chen smiled without a face and prepared for war. The transport fleet moved through the void like a funeral procession. 6 Archean warships surrounded the salvaged human vessel, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight in ways that would have been beautiful if they weren't so deadly. Inside their prize, Sarah Chen counted down the seconds. Final diagnostic complete. Araya reported through their shared consciousness. All systems are operating beyond projected parameters. The quantum sync has successfully integrated the replicated technologies. Sarah felt their shared power humming through the ship's reconstructed systems. For nearly a year, they had played the part of a dead vessel, letting the Archons believe they were in control. Now, light years away from their research facility, it was time to show them how badly they had miscalculated. "They still think we're dormant?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. She could feel the casual arrogance in the Archons' communications, their dismissive discussions of primitive human engineering. Affirmative. Their guard protocols are minimal. They expect no resistance from a derelict ship with no crew and damaged systems. Sarah allowed herself to fully merge with the ship's combat systems. What had once been disorienting now felt as natural as breathing. The quantum sync had evolved far beyond its original design, combining human intuition, artificial intelligence, and reverse-engineered Archean technology into something entirely new. "Begin primary startup sequence," she commanded. "Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity." The first sign that something was wrong came when the Archons' scanning systems suddenly went dark. Not from damage or interference, but because the black ship had simply absorbed all their probe energy into its quantum sync. The second sign was more dramatic. The vessel they had thought dormant transformed before their eyes. Its hull, previously scared and partially dissected, rippled like liquid metal. The quantum absorption coating that had once merely bent light now manipulated space itself, creating a void that seemed to devour the stars behind it. Energy spike detected. The Archean commander's crystalline form vibrated with alarm frequencies. "The human vessel is." That was as far as he got before Sarah unleashed their first attack. The quantum sync didn't just release the energy it had absorbed over the past year. It weaponized it. Beams of concentrated void energy lanced out from the black ship, carrying within them the same frequencies the Archons had used to cripple them a year ago. 2 escort vessels shattered instantly, their crystalline hulls unable to withstand their own weapons turned back against them. "Clear the system," the Archean commander ordered, but it was already too late. The black ship moved with impossible speed, its reformed hull sliding through space like a shadow given form. The quantum sync didn't just absorb energy now, it absorbed space itself, allowing them to cross distances in ways that defied conventional physics. Sarah felt a fierce joy as she danced their vessel through the Archean formation. This was what she had trained for, what generations of human spacers had prepared for. But she was more than human now, more than just a commander. She was one with her ship, one with Araya, a hybrid consciousness-wielding technology that combined the best of human innovation with Archean advancement. Multiple ships launching fighters, Araya reported unnecessarily. Sarah could feel them deploying. They are attempting to establish a containment grid. Sarah laughed within their shared mind space. Let them try. The black ship phase shifted, its quantum-enhanced hull becoming momentarily intangible. Archean weapons passed harmlessly through them, their energy absorbed and converted into more power for their own systems. Sarah had learned from their previous encounter. She would never let them land another solid hit. But it wasn't enough to simply survive. She needed to send a message. The quantum sync pulsed, releasing a wave of void energy that disrupted the Archon's formation. In the confusion, Sarah struck. The black ship moved like a predator, targeting vital systems with surgical precision. She didn't destroy the vessels, she disabled them. Systematically, methodically. Within minutes, the entire escort fleet was drifting, their primary systems offline, their crews trapped but alive inside their crystalline ships. "Open a channel," Sarah commanded, and ARIA complied. When she spoke, her voice resonated through every Archean communication system, a harmony of human speech and quantum harmonics. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the UES Spectre, though I suppose Black Ship is more appropriate now. You attacked us without provocation, killed my crew, and thought you could simply take our technology for your own. You believed us primitive, weak, unworthy of consideration." She paused, letting them see their vessel in its full transformed glory through their failing sensors. "That was your mistake. Humanity doesn't just survive. We adapt. We evolve. We take what tries to destroy us and turn it into something new. Remember that, because you're going to deliver a message for me." Sarah focused their sensors on the disabled ships, marking each survivor, ensuring her words reached them all. "Tell your leaders that Earth is not defenseless. Tell them that their technology is no longer beyond our reach. And tell them that the next time they encounter a human vessel, they should remember the Black Ship and choose very carefully how they proceed." With that, she activated their quantum drive. Another gift from studying Archean technology. The Black Ship vanished into a void of its own making, leaving behind a fleet of humbled warriors and a legend that would spread through Archean space like wildfire. As they accelerated towards Earth, Sarah felt ARIA's presence in their shared consciousness. "They will come looking for us," the AI observed. "Let them come," Sarah replied, feeling the quantum sync pulse with absorbed power. "We'll be ready, and we won't be alone." Because she knew that somewhere out there, some of her crew had survived. They would have made it back to Earth with a warning. Humanity would be preparing, innovating, adapting. By the time they arrived, the Black Ship wouldn't be humanity's only defense against the void. It would simply be the first. The journey back to Earth became a symphony of revelations. As the Black Ship traversed the void, Sarah Chen discovered that their transformation was far from complete. Each moment brought new understanding, new capabilities, as human consciousness and artificial intelligence continued to evolve within their quantum-enhanced shell. 3 Archean pursuit fleets detected, ARIA announced, their shared consciousness mapping the complex web of space-time distortions left by alien drives. They are attempting to predict our trajectory. Sarah felt a surge of grim satisfaction. Let them chase shadows. The quantum sync had evolved beyond mere energy absorption. It now manipulated the very fabric of space-time, leaving false trails and phantom signatures that would keep their hunters busy for weeks. But as they traveled, they found something unexpected. Evidence that the Archon's aggression hadn't been limited to their encounter with the Spectre. The void between stars told stories of other battles, other victims. Multiple debris fields detected, Sarah observed, their sensors piecing together the remnants of destroyed ships. Different designs, different species. We weren't the first they attacked, ARIA, just the first to survive. They paused at one such graveyard, their enhanced sensors reconstructing the final moments of a civilization they would never know. The quantum sync absorbed the lingering energy signatures, adding the echoes of alien technology to their growing arsenal of understanding. Incoming transmission, ARIA reported suddenly. Origin unknown. Frequency matches none in our database. Sarah directed their attention to the signal, and their shared consciousness translated the alien message. To the vessel that defied the Archons, we have watched. We have waited. We offer alliance. The transmission came from what appeared to be empty space, but their enhanced sensors revealed the truth, a cloaked station, home to survivors of previous Archean attacks. The station's inhabitants called themselves the Remnant, a coalition of species who had managed to survive the Archon's technological cleansing campaigns. They seek to preserve their dominance, explained the Remnant's leader, a being of pure energy contained within an advanced mechanical shell. Any species that develops quantum technology is seen as a threat. They believe themselves to be the guardians of natural technological evolution. Sarah shared the irony with Araya. The Archon's attempt to destroy humanity's quantum technology had instead accelerated its evolution beyond anything they could have predicted. But the Remnant offered more than just information. They possessed pieces of technology from dozens of civilizations, each with their own approach to quantum mechanics. "We cannot fight," the Remnant leader admitted, "but we can teach. We can share. And perhaps in your unique fusion of organic and artificial consciousness, we see hope for all our peoples." For 3 days, measured in the pulses of distant stars, the black ship merged with the Remnant's knowledge. The quantum sync absorbed and integrated centuries of different approaches to space-time manipulation. Sarah and Araya's shared consciousness expanded, incorporating new ways of perceiving and manipulating reality. When they emerged, the black ship had evolved once again. Its hull now rippled with patterns visible only in quantum space, its systems incorporating technologies that the Archons had thought lost to time. But more importantly, they had a plan. Multiple Archon signatures approaching, Araya announced as they prepared to depart. They found the Remnant station. Sarah felt their new capabilities humming through their shared systems. Then it's time for them to learn another lesson about humanity. The black ship didn't just fight the pursuing Archon fleet. It danced with reality itself. Where before they had simply absorbed and redirected energy, now they conducted a symphony of quantum manipulation. Space folded around them like origami, their weapons striking from angles that shouldn't exist. Archon ships found themselves suddenly sharing the same space-time coordinates, their crystalline hulls fusing in ways that defied physics. Others were caught in temporal eddies, experiencing the same moment of battle repeatedly until their systems overloaded. "This is Commander Chen of the Black Ship," Sarah broadcast on all frequencies, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated with the crystalline architecture of Archon technology. "You thought you were preserving natural order by destroying those who reached for the stars. Instead, you created something beyond your control." The remaining Archon vessels attempted to retreat, but Sarah wasn't finished. The quantum sync pulsed, creating a bubble of altered spacetime around the entire battle zone. Inside that bubble, the black ship existed everywhere and nowhere, its weapons striking from multiple points in spacetime simultaneously. "You killed my crew," Sarah continued, her human emotion perfectly merged with Araya's precise targeting. "You've killed countless others, all because you feared what they might become. Look at what your fear has created." The black ship's final attack wasn't destructive, it was transformative. The quantum energies they released rewrote the fundamental structure of the Archon vessels, turning their crystalline hulls temporarily organic. For one terrible moment, the Archons experienced existence as the lesser beings they so despised. When the energy faded and their ships reverted to normal, the survivors fled, carrying with them the memory of that transformation. They would tell others of the ship that wielded spacetime like a weapon, of the human consciousness that had merged with artificial intelligence to become something unprecedented. As the black ship prepared to resume its journey to Earth, the Remnant transmitted a final message. "You have given us hope. When you return with your people, we will be waiting. The Archon's age of dominance is ending." Sarah felt Araya's agreement in their shared consciousness. Humanity wouldn't just survive first contact, they would reshape the very nature of cosmic civilization. The black ship had become more than a weapon or a vessel. It was a promise of evolution, of transformation, of barriers broken and new frontiers explored. And they were finally heading home. Earth's defense fleet appeared on their sensors long before they reached the solar system. Dozens of vessels, their designs clearly influenced by recovered Archon technology. Sarah felt a surge of pride mixed with relief. Her crew had made it home. Humanity had prepared. Multiple targeting systems locked on our position, AI had noted as they approached. Earth's defensive capabilities have advanced significantly during our absence. Broadcast identification protocols, Sarah commanded. Let's not get shot down by our own people. The response was immediate. Black ship, this is Earth Defense Command. The voice belonged to Admiral Zhang, and Sarah detected both awe and caution in his tone. We've been monitoring your approach. Your crew warned us about the Archons, but you're something else entirely. Permission to approach, Admiral. Sarah kept her voice steady despite the emotion surging through their shared systems. We bring knowledge that could change everything. There was a pause before Zhang responded. Your surviving crew said you were dead, Commander Chen, that the ship was lost. I was transformed, sir. We both were. Sarah let them scan the black ship, showing them the impossible merger of human consciousness, artificial intelligence, and quantum technology. And we're not alone out there anymore. The debriefing lasted weeks. Sarah remained connected to the ship. They were too thoroughly merged now to separate, but she projected herself as a hologram in Earth's secure facilities, sharing everything they had learned. The remnant's technology, the true nature of the Archons, and most importantly, the potential that lay in the synthesis of human and artificial consciousness. They're coming, she told the assembled leaders of Earth's nations. The Archons won't stop with one defeat, but we've shown them something they've never seen before, evolution they couldn't predict or control. And now we can share that knowledge. The quantum sync technology, originally designed for stealth, had become a bridge between organic and artificial existence. Other AIs could potentially merge with human consciousness, creating new forms of hybrid existence. But more importantly, it offered a way to transcend the traditional boundaries of space, time, and thought itself. We're establishing contact with the remnant, Admiral Zhang informed her after one session. Your discovery of their existence, it changes everything. We're not alone in resisting the Archons anymore. Sarah felt ARA's presence pulse with agreement in their shared mindspace. The Archons tried to prevent species from advancing too quickly, claiming they were preserving natural order. Instead, they forced us to evolve faster than anyone thought possible. But there were concerns. Some feared the implications of human-AI merger, seeing in the black ship a path that could lead to the end of traditional human existence. Others worried about the psychological effects of consciousness expansion, the potential loss of human identity. Sarah addressed them all, her holographic form standing before the UN Security Council. Humanity has always feared change, yet change is what has defined us. We didn't just survive in new environments. We adapted them to survive us. We didn't just create tools. We became them, integrated them, evolved with them. She gestured to her holographic form. I am still human. My thoughts, my emotions, my core identity remain. But I am also more. Through union with Araya and the quantum sync, I've expanded what it means to be human. And that potential exists for all of us. The decision wasn't immediate, but it was decisive. Earth would not merely prepare for the Archon's return. It would transform itself. The black ship became a template for a new kind of vessel, a new kind of existence. Volunteers began training to merge with advanced AIs, creating hybrid consciousnesses capable of operating ships that could manipulate space-time itself. The remnant kept their promise. They emerged from hiding, sharing centuries of accumulated knowledge with Earth. Together, they began building something the Archons had never imagined. A civilization that embraced evolution in all its forms, that saw the merger of organic and artificial not as a threat, but as the next step in cosmic development. 1 year after their return, Sarah stood watch as the first fleet of new hybrid ships prepared to launch. Each vessel contained a merged consciousness, human and AI working as one, their hulls incorporating technology that could reshape reality itself. They're calling it the Transcendence Program. AI observed as they watched. Humanity's step into a new form of existence, Sarah felt the quantum energies pulse through their shared systems, a reminder of how far they'd come from that first desperate battle. The Arkans wanted to control evolution, to keep species from advancing too quickly. Instead, they became the catalyst for the biggest evolutionary leap in human history. As the new fleet prepared to depart, carrying Earth's hybrid children to the stars, Sarah broadcasted one final message to the void where she knew the Arkans were watching. You tried to stop our advancement, to keep us bound by your laws of natural progression. But humanity has never followed anyone's rules but our own. We don't just adapt to the universe, we change it. We don't just survive evolution, we direct it. And now, thanks to you, we've become something that even you couldn't predict. The black ship led the fleet into quantum space, their merged consciousness singing with the power of human determination and artificial precision. They had become a bridge between what was and what could be, between the organic and the digital, between the past and a future unlimited by the boundaries of traditional existence. And somewhere in the void, the Arkans watched, finally understanding that in their attempt to prevent humanity's advancement, they had instead midwifed the birth of something entirely new, a species that had taken their greatest weapon and turned it into a door to transcendence. The age of limitation was over. The age of synthesis had begun.